Party and practice.
25, look, PPL is here. My favorite time of year. Blood, sweat, and tears dripping all over the gear. Yeah, NFL is back. So is PPL. Let the game get started. Time to see who will prevail. Yeah, the wait is over. Yeah, it's time for fantasy. It's time to draft to build a team that's capable to win the ring. As the GAFF attack back to back and try to get him free. He's chilling on the throne where everybody wants to be. Yeah, we all want the money. Everybody pay the fee. For me, I'm trying to win it just to brag about my team. Everybody wants to read, but it ain't easy to achieve it. But believe it when I say it, feels so good when you receive it. Yeah, PPL is back, PPL, the league is whack. You can say I'm talking smack, now I'm only speaking fact. Every week we got the live show, each year we got a nice flow. The others they can see it's like they're playing with their eyes closed. PPL we ride, PPL we live, PPL we high, we the best you can't deny. Welcome to the live show, life be like the sideshow. You know and I know that PPL's a war zone, 100-yard battlefield, helmets as a battle shield. PPL we're back for real, time to draft and make a deal. Alpha versus Omega, battle with the fantasy, a game of intelligence, sacrifice and strategy.
And we are back. After a short interlude, we are here for the stretch run, PPL Live, Week 8. We are closing interconference warfare. But before we jump into Week 8, let's take an eye back to our Week 7 scores. Starting with the GAFF attack, getting a big win behind a big powered-up run by Jahmyr Gibbs, 148 to the Argonauts, 84. The United Playas, the Destroyers, make it 2 wins in a row, are getting through interconference warfare. Big win over Trey Fitty, 97-93. Only for the boss, leaves no doubt. Getting stronger as the season goes along behind Patrick Mahomes. 152 to the Skulls, 112. Patty's Twins keeps the high scoring going, showing they're the PPL's finest. Big win, 144 to Killer Cavs, 112. And Squad underestimated. Big smile on their face. Gets one they know they wanted over a piece of guys. 134-75. Hey man, PPL was rocking last week. A lot of close matchups. Some big time scores, man. What do you think?
I loved it. I mean, we're at a point in the season when I can see, honestly, just about every team pulling down the title this year. And so the second half of the season is going to be absolutely critical.
No, man, definitely. Parity looks like it will rule the day in 2025. But let's take one last eye back to Week 7 with the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, man. We've been waiting to hear from you for a couple of weeks. Let's hear it, Ulysses. The good, bad, and ugly of Week 7.
Well, I said it last week. I mean, I loved what the boss had been doing, and this week was no different, leaving no doubt. Patrick Mahomes and company dialing in. I mean, looking like one of the more complete teams this season. And I think that they're in prime position to keep that going through interconference warfare.
Right.
Nothing but a good performance. I mean, hats off to the boss on what they're doing.
No, definitely, man. And that was without James Cook in the lineup, who was their number one running back. So the boss is looking primed for a run in that Alpha Conference in the second half of the season. Who's your bad?
Bad, again, this one was a tough one for me, but I'm going to go with Killer Kev. I mean, not that they necessarily did anything wrong here, but the loss of Mike Evans is going to be big for this team.
Okay.
Especially going into next week where they're going to be decimated by buys. They really needed, and I thought could have got this with some adjustments. But again, just disappointing performances, especially out of those Green Bay Packers. They won the game, but it was pretty lackluster. And the rest of the lineup just really didn't have a lot going outside of Smith-Nigba, and he's been killing the game. But outside of that, it just wasn't a great week. And again, I think that it might be foreboding, especially as this team goes into a very stacked Alpha Conference.
No, man, definitely. And they fell well short of their projection. They were projected for 131, only got to 112. So no, Killer Kev, it wasn't a good week for them, man. Who's your ugly?
Ugly's ATG. I mean, you mentioned it. This was a prestige matchup.
Yeah.
These two are very storied franchise, have a lot of back and forth in jockeying, and he just failed to launch. I mean, Caleb Williams just didn't do anything. This team really has Bijan Robinson, and then nobody else has been really consistent for them. Concerning spot for them. They're fortunate to have rattled off those early wins, but similar concerns to Killer Kev as they go into Omega play with a Twins team that's looking a lot better, a GAFF team that's looking a lot better, and the UP certainly show that they can get at them. So I think ATG, this was ugly and may not get better.
Yeah, man. When I look at it like that, I got to give ATG a little bit of grace. They're still 4-3. They're at the top of the Omega Conference. They get Lamar Jackson back. They're going to start to get some guys healthy. So I think that they'll be okay when they need to be at the most important times. If they can hold on in this last week of interconference warfare, I think they'll be okay. But I can see where things are going ugly. Aside from that miracle comeback against the Argonauts last week, they have been under 100. I think in all three of their losses, they were under, 80 points. That being said, man, I'm gonna stick. My good is actually gonna be the Omega Conference, man. They're really standing up. I thought that they did a really good job of keeping pace. ATG, maybe to their dismay, have not been able to gap out. But even last week in interconference warfare, they acquitted themselves well. Patty's Twins doing their thing against Killer Kev. I thought the Skulls up until last week were doing pretty well in interconference warfare. The United Players, the Destroyers, are 2-0 in interconference warfare. And the GAFF attack roared back to life with a great performance. So the Omega Conference is my good. And if my good is the Omega Conference, my bad is Alpha. The two of the best records are in the Alpha Conference, but the rest of, I think the conference is kind of falling off. I'm talking about Trey Fitty, the Argo, and Killer Kev. Teams that I thought could make a real play during interconference warfare, give themselves a chance to stack their record and go up, but they haven't been able to do that. And, man, my ugly has just been injuries all around. I know I keep beating this drum, but, I mean, it is starting to affect the play around the league. Some teams are getting healthy at the right times, and that's a good thing. But I think this has been one of the more injury-riddled seasons I can remember in a long time, Ulysses. So that's my ugly. You know, you always want to see teams at their best and at their most powerful to give us compelling matchups. But we haven't been able to get that one way or reason or another in a lot of these games because of injuries. But with that being said, you know, attrition is a part of the game, and what's past is prologue, and it's time to move forward and to see who can overcome and who can become the best in the PPL. And we start in a huge Week 8 matchup in the close of interconference warfare. We got a big one here between these two teams at 3-4, two teams losers last week, two teams needing a win to get off the schneid. We got the Skulls, last year's representatives in the Pantheon Cup, taking on the neophytes in Killer Kev. All right, man. So we got the Skulls and Killer Kev going at it here. Something's got to win. One of these teams is going to come out of interconference warfare 4-4 and ready to go back into conference play with a real chance. What do you think of that, man?
Yeah, I mean, this is unfortunate. As you said, the injury issue here makes this a matchup that I think we wish we could have saw when they were at full strength. Killer Kev, I mean, with the bye week and injuries, is looking pretty decimated. On the other side, I actually love the Skulls matchups this week. Okay. I think that Josh Allen and company are due for a get right at Carolina. You see some of these others, they're playing Dallas, they're playing Chicago, they're playing Minnesota, they're playing the Jets. These guys can get dumb. The Colts against Tennessee, I don't see any way that the Skulls don't have a great week. And in fact, I have them in a leave no doubt performance. I have the Skulls pacing the league this week. I think that they crack 145. Okay. And Killer Kev makes a decent attempt, but they're going to be stymied with these injuries. I think that they go 112.
All right, man, I'm with you. I got the Skulls getting back ready to go back into Omega Conference, ready for a late season run that'll possibly get them back into the playoffs after a horrendous start. I'm looking at Josh Allen, man. He's at Carolina. He's got to get right after how they look going into the bye. They're a proud team. I think that, and Josh is a proud player. I think that they're going to be able to do well there. And let's talk about it. Jamar Chase finally has competency throwing him the football, and it turned into a huge week despite the loss for the Skulls. So I like them a lot there. Zay Flowers gets back into the lineup, and Ladd McConkey is starting to eat up more targets here in LA. On Killer Kev's side, too many buys, man. Jackson Smith and Jigba, the breadwinner, won't be there. Brian Thomas Jr. is injured and he's on a bye. We saw Mike Evans. He's on IR. He's out for the year probably. So it's not looking good. And even Jameson Williams. Killer Kev's going to have to do something at wide receiver and something fast. If not, this is going to be a runaway for the Skulls. I got them getting this one 124 to Killer Kev's 92. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a big one for both of these teams. This one probably could have been the prestige matchup of the week, but we got something else in store. We got a big one here, though. Proud representatives of each conference. We got Alpha Squad Underestimated taking on Omega, the GAFF Attack. All right, man, both of these teams come into this matchup off of wins against hated rivals. Squad Underestimated defeating ATG, and the GAFF Attack defeating the Argonauts. Both of these teams had very, very high scores. Something's got to give here. One of these teams is going into the loser column. Who do you think?
I think the GAFF is going to go in the loser column.
Direct, Ulysses, direct.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say I was really impressed with what I thought Denver was not going to win that matchup. I mean, I called it before in the commentary when Denver came back the way that they did. I mean, Bo Nix is looking like
that dude.
A guy. That combination with Sean Payton too. I mean, again, I mean, it was a throwback to a different era for the Broncos. Sean Payton, I think. Yeah, it doesn't hurt that Christian McCaffrey really turned it on. I think the addition of I think Saquon getting a get-right game against the Giants, I think that they're going to be deflated. Okay. I think that that's going to directly impact the GAFF and Cam and company. And I think that they're just going to be playing from behind in this game.
Okay.
I just think that the GAFF isn't going to get the offensive production he needs. I think that their matchups are just a little bit tougher. I think that the Eagles is a great one. I think that the Bills are a great one. I just don't think that the GAFF performs where they need to beat a squad team that's shown that they're one of the best.
Okay.
Again, I've got them in a lock of the week, 132 to the GAF's 118.
Ulysses. Lock of the week on the defending champs. Wow, man. You know what? That's going to tempt me to just go the other way, just off a general principle. I'm going to go with the GAFF here. I like Jalen Hurts to get right. He looked really, really good throwing the football last week in Minnesota. I expect that to continue. I think that they're getting their passing game in order. They're starting to see what works. And I think Jalen's starting to build his confidence in this offense because he's been changing offensive coordinators year in and year out. Showed that confidence last week, and I was surprised the GAFF didn't actually go there. And then he missed out on a couple of double dip opportunities because A.J. Brown got off. He's going back to that this week. Couple that with C.D. Lamb and with Tyler Warren, who's having if it wasn't for, he might be up there for Rookie of the Year right now. I can't think of other guys besides maybe Egbuka, who's having a huge impact as a rookie. DK Metcalf is doing his thing. He had a touchdown, but he also got the ball ripped away from him. Was not a good look on Thursday. And at the end of the day, I just think that they'll have enough. Bo Nix does have an inviting matchup against Dallas, but he has been a little inconsistent. He's been a little up and down, so he may be in for a little regression to the mean. I got the GAFF Attack getting by in this one. 134 to Squad Underestimated is 131. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a big one for both of these teams on opposite ends of the spectrum. First place in the Omega Conference against last place in Alpha. We got Trey Fitty taking on Appease the Gods. All right, man, Trey Fitty has had a disastrous season. They've lost 3 straight, 2 times in a row this year. Sandwiched in between their one win. ATG, though, just cannot seem to find that scoring. They were able to get a big win against the Argonauts last week, but this week they were not able to get back to scoring. Only 80 points, man. Something's got to give here. Who do you think gets this one?
Yeah, I mean, this I think is going to actually be one of the more entertaining matchups of the week because I think both teams have a lot to try to play for. I mean, Nobody's really expecting a lot out of this matchup. Right. I think the big thing for ATG is the return of Lamar Jackson. I mean, Caleb Williams, serviceable, but I mean, again, not where Lamar Jackson has been historically.
Right.
Here, it's going to just come down to, can Cortland Sutton be a part of it? Can Chuba Hubbard find a way to get back into that Carolina rotation? I don't know. But what I do like is the intrigue of some of the matchups here.
Okay.
ATG going with Packers coach against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh obviously being quarterbacked by Aaron Rodgers,
Right.
former Green Bay quarterback. And I think that this plays huge into this matchup. I watched Aaron Rodgers last week, I should say, get outplayed by Joe Flacco. Flat out, he got outplayed, especially when that game came down to it. I mean, he's throwing Hail Marys that are easily picked off in that second half. It wasn't pretty. I think that what we've seen with the Packers and Micah Parsons' ability to disrupt things, I mean, this could be catastrophic for Aaron Rodgers and company.
Okay.
There's a lot to be desired with what Trey Fitty's doing. He's still needing to fill the flex spot. Patriots coach against Cleveland should be good. I think that this one has just a lot of variables and can honestly go either way.
Yeah.
I just like Lamar coming back against Chicago. I think that's going to be fruitful for him.
Okay.
And I think that Appease the Gods ekes one out. I've got them cracking 100, but not by much. I've got them going 111 to Trey Fitty's 107.
All right, man. This is going to be a tough one to pick, man. But you know what? I think I'm going to pick the upset here. You know what? I think Aaron Rodgers has got one more in him, and he, he's got his eyes and his guns loaded on Green Bay this week. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. It's going to be a game that I think Aaron's going to be able to get comfortable in the pocket, quiet as kept. The Packers' pass rush looked good, but it's been very inconsistent. I think Aaron's going to be able to get some time to throw the ball, and I think he's going to have himself a pretty good game because he's going to be focused on this matchup. And Green Bay's been middle of the pack defensively, I feel like. I like Breece Hall against Cincinnati if he's able to go. And Quinshon Judkins, he's another rookie that's actually starting to play very, very well. Had a huge game against the Dolphins. On ATG side, if Lamar comes back, man, I see what you mean, because if Lamar comes back, he can give ATG a huge performance, the boost that they really need. I like McLaren also coming back on Monday night. Cortland Sutton, we've talked about Denver. We're loving what they're doing over there. I'm a little concerned about that flex spot with Chuba Hubbard, though, and the tight end spot with Loveland. I think I'm going to go with Trey Fitty here to get this win. 119 to ATG's 116. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a huge one here. Proud representatives of the old order of Alpha and Omega. We got the Argonauts taking on Patty's Twins. All right, man, big one here, the Argonauts and the Twins. Every time these teams match up, it's a rematch of the inaugural Pantheon Cup. Big one here, the Argonauts now have lost 2 in a row. The Twins are at 4-3, have won 1. What do you think of this one? The Argonauts are the walking wounded right now.
Yeah, you said it. They're the walking wounded, and I think you also hit it at the top of the show. I think Patty's Twins are showing themselves to be the most lethal team right now.
Right.
The resurgence of Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams. Really the only play that I'm not thrilled with is Jordan Addison. I even think Tez Johnson, with the injury issues in Tampa Bay, make him a viable option. And again, the Argos they're on their third bench here. I think Baker's due for a get-right week, though. I mean, New Orleans has shown that they can do that.
Yeah.
I just am concerned about how Carolina is going to utilize the two-back set. And I think that plays against Rico Dowdle. I'm not sold with the Minnesota quarterback play. Again, he is just very deep into picking guys, and they just haven't overwhelmed us with consistent performance. Can they put up points? Absolutely. Are they doing it week out? For him there, I mean, he's just starting who can suit up,
right.
And I think for that reason, Patty's Twins gets this one done. I love Justin Herbert's matchup against Minnesota, and I think that he exploits that. I think that Patty's Twins gets a close one here. I'm going to say that they go 124 to Argos 119.
All right, man, I'm with you here. When I look at this matchup, the Twins are trolling the Argonauts. They got Jordan Addison on the other side of Justin Jefferson. They got Tez Johnson in case Baker Mayfield decides he doesn't want to throw to Egbuka. The Twins know exactly what they're doing here. They're waiting to play their D. They're waiting to play their kicker. They're waiting to play their coach. So the Twins are totally in control of this matchup right now. The Argonauts are throwing who they actually have available here and hoping for the best. And I don't think they're going to get their best. I got Patty's Twins getting this matchup 119 to the Argonauts 115. And moving on to our prestige matchup of the week, we got a big one here. Two teams we did not pick at the beginning of the season to be where they are, but here they are, sitting near the top of their conferences. We got only for the boss taking on the United Playas, the Destroyers. All right, man, the United Playas, the Destroyers, have made it into the prestige matchup of the week. Not somewhere they regularly find themselves. Only for the boss, obviously, not new to the prestige matchup, man. What do you think of this one? Should be some fireworks.
The fact that the UP is in a prestige matchup this deep into the season should tell us all how everybody's season has been. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of disappointments, a lot of lucky wins, and they're going against one of the few teams that I think is really poised.
Okay.
Only for the boss, as I think shown me early on this season, wasn't necessarily sure, but the guys have been delivering.
Right.
It's James Cook back into the lineup. Mahomes and company are really looking to just gel. I think that at home against Washington, that's a banged up squad. Let's be real.
Right.
I think Spagnuolo's not going to hold anything back, and he's going to make them earn every inch. Devonta Smith showing that he's got big playability, and I think will force Jalen to kind of get that ball around.
Yeah.
The other side, I mean, frankly, he's been one of the few teams that hasn't been completely decimated by injury. He certainly had them happen, but not to the degree other teams have to this point. The UP, I mean, Daniel Jones is shown to be a dude.
Stud, yeah.
You know, I think, you know, he's shown to be one of the higher scoring teams. Bye weeks this week are gonna hurt him a little bit though, and again, I think that's just going to be a little too much to overcome. He's typically late on action, and so his options will be, I think, limited if he's going to the way to
the wire,
free agency, to address those holes. I think only for the boss continues the momentum and has another great performance. I've got him going 134 to the United Playas 108.
All right, man. I see what you mean, because only for the bosses look like a juggernaut so far this year. Near the top of the league in scoring, tied for the best record in the PPL right now. They're looking like the team that they used to be before. That Chiefs, that big Chiefin is definitely coming through. When it comes through, they look like this. But something's telling me the United Players, the Destroyers, have a chance here, man. If they get T. Higgins into that lineup, obviously, you know they're going to put Derrick Henry and DeAndre Swift back in. But if they get T. Higgins in and maybe Waddle out, they're going to have three wide receivers who are going to be heavily targeted, three huge targets out there. And with Zach Ertz, you know that they can score some points. Bill's coach comes back with an easy matchup, and I think that Daniel Jones is going to eat the Titans alive. Now, only for the boss's side, he's going to get the last laugh, and that's always the scary part with the boss. But the United Players have one important check, and that check is Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice was heavily targeted last week, and he's going to continue to be heavily targeted in that offense. He's not only taking up the number one receiver role, but he's also taking some of Kelsey's blanket receiver role, and it's going to just get him peppered with targets, and going to help the United Players either keep a lead or stay close if they're in a matchup that late with the boss. I got the United Players squeaking it out, 131 to only for the bosses 128. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another great week of PPL Live. We are back for the home stretch run. We will crown the 17th Pantheon Cup champion. So I hope you guys are enjoying the season. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next week. Have a good weekend, and may the odds be ever in your favor.